Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today I want to talk about the LCS. Obviously, we are coming off MSI, an international event, its own craziness and fun and good and bad things, its ups and downs. We're coming off the mini off season, which again, in its own right is really exciting. Some pros, some cons, but we're not getting to see, League of Legends during that time, any competitive League of Legends. And even at MSI, we're only getting to see just EG play, and we got to see them, lose 6 or 7 times in a row to G2. We get to see them get swept out of the semifinals. It's cool, it's fun, but also there's still something that I really enjoy about, regional League of Legends. Even though the LCS season is kind of boring, at least it's like constant League of Legends. There's a lot going on. There's so many games being played, and I'm really hyped up and I'm really excited. I think this coming summer split, the LCS is doing some good things. They're doing some bad things, and there's definitely just a whole lot of stuff to talk about. So that's what I wanted to do in this video, and I wanted to start with this tweet from the LCS where they said the LCS summer split begins on June 17th. So just in case you guys were wondering, I think this video is probably going to be coming out on June 7th. So about 10 days away from the start of the LCS season. I don't know if it starts on a Friday or a Saturday, but somewhere in there. Tickets for the regular season at the LCS studio are now available, and that is a huge story in and of itself. This is going to be the first split, hopefully, fingers crossed, fully back in person since summer 2019, and that's insane. That's so crazy. That's so long ago. That's how the world had always been, but also how competitive League of Legends and esports in general had been consumed was in person with fans, with the crowd going on in the background, the fans cheering, booing, TSM chants, all that stuff. Player reactions, the cams, the interviews after, all that stuff, and we didn't get that for so long. And I think the product definitely suffered. And I just think overall the LCS is going to be way more fun, way more exciting in the summer split because of the fans being back. But I also think the fans are potentially going to be better than ever after being deprived of this stuff for so long. And me getting to be in Houston, like the crowd there was insane. Everyone was so excited. It was so nice to see everyone back in person. Obviously, I'm a newer person to the scene, but still, getting to be a part of everyone coming back together and seeing all these people and stuff. It had been like 3 years since I went to an in-person esports event, but this also not only has some impact on the product overall, but it potentially has some impact on the game being played on the Rift, that some players and some teams are going to play better in front of the fans, in front of the crowd. Some people are going to be nervous. Some people are going to play worse. Some people are going to be hesitant or shaky, or, the meme between like scrims and stage team, that's going to be even further intensified by the time you start adding in a crowd, especially for some of these players that haven't played in front of crowds before. And when you're playing in front of a crowd for the first time, again, some people are going to rise up to that occasion and some people are going to falter a little bit. EG, I definitely think benefited from that crowd in Houston. Jojo and Danny seemed to play to the crowd really well, and the crowd loved them. Getting to see some North American talent in a team with 3 NA players taking on a team in 100 Thieves with no North American players at all, and taking on a team in TL also with no North American players. Like, it was so easy for the fans to get behind them, and once they started playing well, once they started making some big plays, for them to play into the fans as well, and it really seemed like they fed off that energy. And I honestly think that could be a big boost to Evil Geniuses going forward into the summer split. They won the title, they went to MSI, they did NA proud in a lot of ways, and they're carrying a lot of momentum, and getting to play in front of that crowd and stuff, I think could be a really big thing. Again, it'll just be kind of something interesting to track, is player performance from spring to summer, who plays worse, who plays better. Does it have anything to do with the crowd? Does it have nothing to do with the crowd? Does it have to do with the durability patch? Who's going to know for sure? But I do think that is one thing to kind of watch out for. And it's just huge news. It was so dumb arguing back and forth with people about whether or not they should have fans in attendance, or if it's safe to do it yet, or how they should do it, or if they shouldn't do it at all, or if it's disgusting that they're allowing fans back in person or whatever. So it's really cool that we're at least attempting to get back to normal. Now, obviously, I still do wonder what's going to happen when a team or a player or a staff member or whatever eventually gets sick. Are they going to go back to partly remote? Are they going to, at some point when players get sick, they're going to have to miss games. Like back in 2019 or whatever, there was no, oh, hey, your whole team gets to play from your facility or anything like that. At some point it was, hey, if you get sick, your team needs to play a sub, or you need to have a stand-in or whatever. So I don't think we're totally going to be fully there yet with just, still playing in person and still kind of rocking and rolling 100% back to normal, but it seems like we're slowly going to get there, which is really really, really cool. Hopefully the whole summer split goes off, without any issues. And this is also really, really big news because this starts to lead us into, hey, we're going to have a full regular season in person. Hopefully we're going to have a full playoffs in person once again, like we just did in the spring. And then that will take us into Worlds in North America, where not only will this be the first time that Worlds is in North America in, like, I don't even know, seems like forever, like 4 or 5 years, something like that, but getting full in person, the full League of Legends World Championships in North America is going to be so sick. It's going to be so insane. I think it is Mexico City, Toronto, New York City, and San Francisco, which will be some pretty hype locations, some insane stadiums and crowds and all that stuff. And it would just be an absolute shame if we're not able to have crowds for that. So I'm really hoping we have crowds for the regular season. I think that's cool. Crowds for the playoffs is even cooler. Crowds for the finals is super cool. And then crowds for Worlds is ultimately going to be the cherry on top. So I hope, things go well there. As far as tickets and stuff like that, it seems like it's going to be $20 to get those single-day tickets into the LCS, $30 for the front-row seats. But then talking about the format, the LCS Summer Split consists of an 8-week double round-robin. So they're not going to be doing the triple round-robin like they did last year. Your record from spring is not going to carry over into summer. You're starting all the way over. It's just going to be double round-robin once again, which I think is ultimately the good call. I appreciate them trying different stuff out and attempting that last year, but I do think it kind of sucked, and I think this is definitely the way to do things. So they're going to do the double round robin over 8 weeks with 5 games played on Saturdays and Sundays. Weeks 1 through 8 are going to be super weeks, which means we're going to have 5 extra games on Fridays, making a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday there. And then at the end of week 8, the top 8 teams are going to advance to the LCS Summer Playoffs. That is definitely one of the things that I hate about the LCS right now. I have no idea why they're deciding that 8 teams need to make the playoffs. Those 7th and 8th teams, these are going to be teams with 5-13 records or 6-12 records or something like that. There's absolutely no way that they deserve to be in the playoffs. They're going to, those games are not going to have high viewership. They're going to be boring. You end up wasting a weekend, of watching the 5th place team play the 8th place team and the 6th place team play the 7th place team. And that's the whole weekend of games. That sucks. That's not good for viewership. I'm sure sponsors don't like that. Fans don't really seem to like that. It's not like the players get to feel proud that they earned a playoff spot. It makes the playoffs meaningless. It adds games that nobody cares about. So the LCS overall, I think, is doing a lot of cool stuff and a lot of stuff I agree with, a lot of stuff I'm excited about. 8 teams in the summer playoffs, I don't even get what the justification is. I think it's really, really dumb and really stupid. I think when the pandemic first started, one of the justifications for it was this split is kind of scuffed. We're having some online games. We're having some connectivity issues. People are getting sick, all that stuff. So we don't want to take away the playoffs from a team who maybe deserves it. So we'll have 8 people make the playoffs. That's not the case anymore. Now it's just a really shitty format that we've been stuck with for the past couple of years. I don't get this at all. Definitely do not think 8 teams need to make the playoffs in summer. So I do think that's weird. But then there is some good news here as well that we have. Where am I looking at? So 8 teams are going to make the playoffs. The winner will be crowned the LCS champion and join the 2nd and 3rd place teams as NA's representatives at Worlds. The playoff format remains the same as last summer. Double elimination for the top 6 with first round buys for the top 2. Single elimination for seed 7 and 8. But this year, the first seed will be allowed to choose which side of the bracket to play through at the conclusion of week 8, which is something that people have been arguing with for a while. I don't believe that was a thing last year. There was some talk of should teams tank in the last week to get the easier side of the bracket or, stupid stuff like that. And that should never be the case. You should play out the regular season normally. And yes, the 1 seed should get to pick their side of the bracket. That was an absolute no-brainer and something that I felt like I was getting in really stupid arguments with people about last year. So I'm glad that Riot did decide to make that change. And I think that is just another one of these really, really good decisions and good changes that they're making. I just think we really need to get the playoffs down to 6 teams. We only have 10 teams in the league. 8 teams, 80% of your league does not need to make the playoffs. But that's going to be the end of that. Pretty much it for this video today, guys. Let me drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about the LCS format. Any of the things we talked about in this video today. Are you hyped up for the LCS season? Do you think it's boring, stupid, dumb? Is there a way they can make it better? I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hope to catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.